Well, you might remember that earlier this week we told you about how major credit card companies like Visa, MasterCard, and American Express are planning on using new merchant codes to track gun store sales and start categorizing gun sales separately from purchases made in other businesses. Now, Second Amendment advocates say the move could open a backdoor for Big Brother to create a national gun registry. Our next guest is taking the credit card companies to task, warning them to keep their practices out of his state. Joining us now is Florida's State Chief Financial Officer, Jimmy Patronis. Jimmy, welcome back to the show. Let me ask you, I know you're pushing back. You've issued a warning. What action are you willing to take or have you taken against credit card companies?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Look, I did 8 years in the legislature, and we saw it from time to time where a corporation, a profession, or a group would start taking their interpretation of what they could do too far. So sometimes you have to change the law in order to prohibit that action. So I'm a big believer. Look, I think I don't need a new law on the books to keep you from changing your habits or your agenda. So we take this opportunity to share with your amazing audience what the state of Florida is willing to do. And we will literally send a shot across their bow that Florida is not going to stand for this. Ultimately, if we have to pass legislation and financially penalize those credit card companies in the state of Florida, we will. Our Second Amendment rights are given to us. And our rights are by our creator, not by the government, and they shouldn't be regulated by some corporate woke institution.
So it's interesting, you think about it, so many states respond to how California does car emissions, right? And then so many states deal with how Texas mandates things for textbooks, right? Because they lead the way. So, I mean, there is a precedent to this. If you start doing this and telling these card companies they can't do it, they may have to. But here's the question. Can you legally do something that would prevent them from doing this? And is that what you guys are willing to do? Have you reached out to them? Have they responded? And where do things stand? Or is this just a warning?
The dialogue has been started. This is a great way to turn up the volume on our concern. We issued a press release yesterday. The response has been very well received. So as we continue to turn up the volume on this issue, at the end of the day, I'm very concerned that ESG not only is affecting gun rights, electricity rights, utility rights, it's going to go on and on affecting insurance rates. And ultimately, to me, this crosses way into a form of antitrust. So if those corporations want to continue playing fast and loose with ESG emitted policy and starting to change how they're governed, to me, this reeks of antitrust, and we'll take them to court on that. And I like our odds in the Supreme Court.
It's funny. I mean, I've talked to you about some of the stuff that you're doing on that ESG wokeness, where these guys are doing with the state fund and some of the things you're leading the way. In this instance, after you did the press release announcing that, did some of the folks from other states reach out to you and say, hey, we'd like to join in this effort as well?
Absolutely. So you've got state treasurers all over the United States, and treasurers are different from state to state. Some are elected, some are not. But as the state associations are starting to band together and we see these financial institutions ultimately passed on the agenda that only cost the taxpayers more, enough's enough. So in my case, if we need to deplatform certain financial institutions because this is the way that they want to govern themselves, well, then, I guess I'm putting my political career at risk, but it's the right fight to have, because I'm not going to make the cost of living go up because of a woke agenda by some corporation that doesn't have a seat at the table in the state of Florida's households when it comes to their household budget.
I agree. And I think this is fantastic because, again, you're leading the way on this stuff. And I think once other states see you doing it, they'll join in. And then the credit card companies will feel like they have to back off. I do want to switch gears for a second because Florida's Attorney General yesterday sent a petition to the Supreme Court to decide whether states have the right to regulate what social media companies allow and censor on their platform. This is after the 11th Circuit ruled a law that your governor DeSantis signed last year was unconstitutional and violated the First Amendment. I know this is out of your purview, but can you fill us in on where this stands?
Well, big tech, I think, has been a hotly talked about debate over the last 2 years in the Florida legislature. And as they have incredible influence on the process, we are continuing to push back. And I told my team as we started debating, do we have a seat at the table? some of this should be a federal argument. I said, if California can regulate their own social media, their big tech companies, what does the state of Florida, chop liver? I said, no, we will continue to push legislation to ensure that people's rights are not being infringed, and those liabilities of those companies when they make those decisions can be held accountable in a court of law.
It's interesting, you know, we keep talking about this, but I feel like if the left can do this, as you said, California does it in so many ways. They ban things, and then other states on the left will follow behind. But if Florida can continue to lead the way on so many of these woke policies or anti-woke policies, and get states on the right, you guys can be the antidote to this in so many ways.
Oh, absolutely. So this dialogue is worth having. But I look at the immigration issue. Right now, the best way to maybe free up for immigration is try to, do everything you can to undermine ICE. Well, sometimes the best way to undermine ICE is going after those contractors that are doing the work on behalf of ICE. So if I want to go after those, I'm going to start protesting and picketing and showing up at, maybe an event that Jamie Dimon is at or some of his board members are at. And if I can rattle their cages enough, then you know what? I have effectively put a grinding halt to immigration policy, or at least the enforcement of immigration policy in the United States. So again, these actions cannot be tolerated. And if red states have to lead the way on behalf of what makes common sense policy, by God, sign me up.
Jimmy, I appreciate you coming on. You guys are doing such great work down there at Florida. Obviously, the immigration stuff, as you pointed out, and what Governor DeSantis is doing. But the work that you're doing with your office has been fantastic, fighting back on the woke policy. So thank you for what you're doing, and thanks for sharing it with our audience.